So for the longest time, maybe about 2-3 years, I've been disconnecting the battery because I had something draining the battery overnight. Turns out, at least what I originally thought was the alternator, because when I did the amp draw test and I disconnected the wire that connects to the battery from the alternator, it would go away. I didn't look any further into that. I replaced the alternator, still doing the same thing. Come to find out that the PCM, so what a lot of people do is they put a resistor in this one and just run it into the wiring for the key on. Well, I made the mistake of thinking that the PCM was going to run this, but apparently maybe the PCM needs, in the stock trucks, maybe it uses the body control module to help with that, because the way it is now, the thing that's really keeping this whole thing on isn't a bad diode or isn't a bad PCM. It's just, well, who knows if the PCM is bad or not, but it's just a PCM keeping it on. And this is with the key off, so we need to see 0 volts, and that's it. So what I got to do now is just add a resistor. So I made a mistake of thinking the PCM was going to just tell the alternator when to turn on, tell the alternator when to turn off. It's not doing that, it's just keeping it on all the time. So what I'm going to do now is just put a resistor. And it's one of those things you overlooked, and it's an issue I've been having for the past 3 years, and just now I'm looking into it, to fixing it, so pretty much that way I can finish up this build and never have to open this again. That'll be it. So I'm going to add a resistor to this. So here's the plug. Here's the solder and everything I'm going to use to solder this wrong. This is what I'm going with. So after watching the Night Wrencher's video on this, I think these are the specs that he used. Maybe tolerance was 2% on his, but half watt, 470 ohms for $6. You get 100 of these. So 100 alternators that you can do. Isn't that crazy? There's the specs again. This is what I'm gonna run. I'm gonna try it out, and we'll go back to the multimeter. But this should take care of my issue, and I could actually just drive it, park the car, leave it for a few days, and just get it going again. Alright, this is a sweet soldering job that I just did. That much solder is probably going to add resistance. I don't know. I don't do this professionally, but the way things go around here, I'm just going to throw it on there. If this shows 0 volts when the key is off, and then it has some voltage in there to tell the alternator to turn on with the key on, then I'm good. Wire is long enough, just like the one that ICT Billet gives you, or sells you. But for $17.99 for the ICT Billet one, you could just get these, especially if you already have this. And then for $6 here, just wire it in, and that's it. So do the voltage check, and maybe I'll check resistance on this, but I'm probably just gonna throw it in there just like I do everything else. Alright, just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna confirm the resistance on one of these. 470 ohms. Perfect. Now I'm gonna see what it is on mine. The one I just did. See if that extra solder that I have on there doesn't, add any resistance. $470 ohms. So we're good. It's basically what it asked for, and it should just work. How lucky for me. So I found my wiring, at least the key on part. It's my fancy harness that I made years ago. And right now, key is off. Key off. And put the key on. .9 volts. And double check. 11.98. Now I'm gonna start the car. .1 volts. And everything's right in the world. 14.3. And then if I shut it down now, what it's gonna do is it's just gonna read battery voltage only now. Turn it back on. 12.5. And that's it. Nothing to it.